Hi, Connie Deal here with Lessons in Learning for Littles. And in this session, we're going to talk about meal planning and how to make it easy and adaptable for your family so that you can create simple weekly meal plans to save you time and money. So let's talk about who I am real quick and why you should listen to me for this. So basically, being a modern mom means we've got a lot on our plates, literally. And at the end of the day, we don't coming up with dinner is probably the last thing that we want to do, especially if you stay home with little ones. You've been home by, yourself all day with them, and it's exhausting, and you're tired, and people aren't at their best usually at the end of the day because, energy is running low and whatnot. So, coming up with dinner is not something we want to do. So in this session, you'll learn how my family uses weekly menus to make meal planning and grocery shopping simpler to save us time, energy, and money. A little bit about myself. I am a mom of two. Before I was a mom, I was a teacher. So I taught during the day and I taught night classes. So I've always kind of had to think ahead in a menu sense of, because I always have time to go to the store. So it's always kind of been in my head. But that worked well when it was just me or me and my, husband at the time. And then having kids and really not wanting to throw them in the car when it's, winter coat season and stuff like that. And it's raining or snowing outside. Just really demonstrated that I needed to put something in writing and fine tune my system for it. So this worked really well when it was me and my ex-husband and just one kid, when it was the four of us, when I had a second child, and we have food allergies and preferences. So that's important too, because we can't just eat anything. So we do have to do a lot of our own cooking because the freezer section isn't generally safe for us. So, or at least not for all of us. And now that I still have two kids, but I also have two bonus kids, so life has changed a lot in the past few years. The system still works. So some nights there's three of us for dinner here. Some nights there's four. Some nights there's six. So needed something to keep it all straight. And I want to share this awesome system with you because it works and it's worked for us for years. But first, why meal planning? Meal planning takes the guesswork out of that dreaded what's for dinner question. And I actually talk about breakfast and lunch because I'm home all day with my kids, and those were meals that we needed as well. So I, stick to the what's for dinner because that's what we typically hear, but I mean all the food for the week. So it lessens food waste, fewer trips to the grocery store, which saves us time and money because usually the more you go, the more you spend because you're stopping in at convenience places, which may not be the cheapest place in town, or you're throwing extra things in, or the extra gas to get there and the time. It's easier to delegate cooking and meal prep if you have a weekly menu, and it provides structure for the kids who need it. So basically, you're not a short order chef if you don't want to be. So I know that there's different thoughts on that you ask the kids what they want and you cook it, or there's other thoughts of this is what's for dinner, eat it or go hungry. So not telling you what to do there, but it provides structure that the kids can see that this day we're eating this day we're eating that. And I'll also share ways to help include them in the process so that they get a choice as well. It helps you stick to a budget. The grocery lists are already done for you, so you don't have to think about it. And it's totally adaptable and flexible for food allergies and preferences and all that kind of stuff. So one thing I want to point out is that as moms, we have that, the decision making going on and the thoughts of what needs to be done and when all the time. So we're thinking about birthdays, we're thinking about dinner tonight, we're thinking about we got to make the doctor's appointment. We got to remember to bake cookies for the bake sale on Friday. The electricity bill is due in 2 days. All those sorts of things are always going on in our heads because that's typically been what women do. So your family might not be the same, but usually when I talk to moms, that's the case. So the meal planning takes one thing off of our plates by just creating a system for it. So that's one of the things that I do at Lessons in Learning for Littles is I help with activities for toddlers and preschoolers, but we also do systems, routines, and stuff like that. And that's where this falls in, is trying to help you have a less stressful life so that you can enjoy those little moments with your kids and not spend it feeling like you're just working all the time. So getting started is what you will do with this is you will Make a list of your family's favorite meals, so keeping in mind food allergies and preferences. You're going to add in breakfast, lunch, and dinners as applicable. So for us, when I first started writing it down, it was my ex-husband, the 2 kids, and I. And so breakfast would be me and the 2 kids because he didn't eat breakfast and he was at work. Lunch would be the 2 kids and me. Dinner would usually be the 4 of us. So now it's somewhat similar, and then dinners are different depending on if we have 3 people here, my significant other's here, or if we have all 4 of our kids here, so there's 6 of us. So for us, that depends on what weekend and stuff like that. But when you're doing this, you're keeping that in mind, and you're going to write down who's there for each meal, and I'll show you in a few slides what I mean by that. If I were you, I would categorize the meals by ingredients so that you have less food waste, or by how frequently you like to eat certain foods, or something like that. So making sure that you're throwing in, your proteins, your carbs, your vegetables, all that kind of stuff when you're writing out your menu. And then I would start planning. So I know that just sounds like a mouthful, but I'm going to show you in a minute what I mean. So with the planning, like I said, we're planning out meals for whoever is home to eat them, or for if they're packing a meal to go, keep that in mind. Consider using leftovers. If your family eats leftovers or is okay with slight variations of the same meal, alternate days for that. So an example would be doing burritos on Monday night and tacos on Wednesday night, similar but slightly different, or doing taco salad, something like that. So same ingredients, and you can use the leftovers from Monday on Wednesday. You could also freeze the leftovers. So when you cook meals that are freezable, or when they're freezable, so put them into lunch size portions and then use those for lunches on the go. And that way the person's not eating the leftovers the next day. They can eat them the following week, and it's like new food again. That's what I used with my ex-husband, who hated leftovers. He just wasn't somebody that could eat, the same meal 3 days in a row. So if I froze it for him, he would take it to work for lunch, and that worked great for us. When you're thinking about your planning, you're going to allow for soccer practice, late meetings, and stuff like that. So here's what I am talking about. So a visual. So week 1, you can do as many weeks as you want. I suggest starting with 2 or 3 weeks worth of meals. We have about 6 going right now. So breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, notes, and things to consider. So this would be, for me, it would be Connie works late. If there's kids or no kids for dinner that night. Actually, on Wednesdays, there's never kids for dinner. Saturday, Sunday, how many kids are there, or is it just the adults? And then going across, you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then grocery list. So with the grocery list, I would put the things that are normally in the pantry or the refrigerator. So if you're having hamburgers and you always have ketchup, then I would still write the ketchup just because you want to check that eventually, but it's obviously not something you need to go buy. So for mine, it's 2 columns, and I do, things to double check that we have enough of, and things to purchase. So I would be purchasing the hamburger, the lettuce, the tomato, that sort of thing, for that example. So you're going to make a list of all the meals that are easy to cook, that are your go-to meals, and then you're going to start plugging them in. So making the meals for the month, while you're plugging them in or while you're scheduling them out, you're going to do this 1 week at a time for all the meals that you're planning for. If you're not planning for breakfast and lunch, then don't do breakfast and lunch, just do dinners. Remember that it's okay to repeat meals. So in my 6-week rotation, if we think about that as, this week, the start of not only the month, but the year, that's week 1. And then we're going to be halfway through February before we get back to week 1 again, because I have 6 weeks. So by the time I get back to week 1, it's brand new again, and we've forgotten what that, menu is. But some of the, say Tuesday's dinner from week 1 might be Wednesday's dinner in week 3 or something like that. So it's okay to repeat meals. It's just keep in mind how often you guys want to eat them. Another idea with repeating meals is some people just do, meatless Mondays, taco Tuesdays, pizza Fridays, whatever. So you could do a theme like that, would be another way to do this. Consider slight variations of the same thing. So do spaghetti 1 week and baked ziti the next week. So noodles, pasta, and then add in some cheese and bake it instead of just throwing it, sauce on it and throwing it on the plate. And it's okay to schedule in takeout meals or meals, at restaurants, stuff like that. That's perfectly fine too. You just want to know what's for dinner and when. Another idea is to consider doubling recipes on less busy days so that way you can throw them in the freezer and use them later in the week or in the month. I would say probably in the month. So if you like to do enchiladas, then do a double batch of those on your slow day of Wednesday and throw it in the freezer and save it for, I don't know, for week 3. And then you have it, and then you're going to have to make that again, obviously. So it'll take a little bit of time to get your freezer stash going, and you need a system for making sure that you do that. But that's a great idea, especially, or if you just have, you want to scrap the whole menu and you're like, we just need something simple. I'm not prepping anything. Let's just heat it and eat it. Another idea, if you don't have food preferences and food allergies that prevent you from using the frozen ready meals, I would stock up on a few of those. And that's a cheaper option than scheduling in meals out or takeout, is just a frozen meal from the grocery store. Just to give yourself a night off of meal prep, or maybe your schedule doesn't allow it. So that would just be another idea is, everybody gets home at 6 and bedtime's at 7:30. So we're just going to throw whatever in the oven, frozen pizza in the oven. We're going to check in and do homework while it bakes and do family bonding time or whatever. We're going to eat dinner, then we're going to go do our bedtime routine. So make it work for you is the point. And so let's walk through that a little bit here. So for us, for breakfast, it's 2 kids and me. So Monday, Wednesday, you'll notice that I shifted this from the previous one because we repeat meals. So I do Monday, Wednesday are similar. Tuesday, Thursday are similar. Friday's on its own because, I don't know, it just worked out better. And then Saturday, Sunday are weekends. And so it usually isn't clear which weekend day we're going to go out to lunch and which day we're going to stay home, that sort of thing. So Monday, Wednesday for breakfast is either an egg sandwich or breakfast burrito. So the slash means Monday and then Wednesday there, or either or, because it's the same thing. It's eggs, it's shredded cheese, and it's it's bread or an English muffin, or it's a tortilla. So it's kind of the same thing. Yogurt and granola on Tuesday and Thursdays, because that's a favorite for my kids, so they don't mind eating it. They'd eat it every day if I'd let them. Friday is English muffins with peanut butter and jelly. So in this case, the egg sandwiches were on English muffins that we're using 2 English muffins on Monday, and then 2 English muffins on Friday. So that's 4 out of the package of 6. Leaves me 2 left over. And then scrambled eggs and bacon for Saturday and Sunday. So we can throw in those other 2 English muffins somewhere in there to make sure the English muffin package is eaten that week. So things that I would need would be eggs and tortillas, English muffins, bacon, oatmeal. That's actually not written on there, but that's for me because that would be what I would be eating in there. We already have the cheese, the peanut butter, and the jelly. We need yogurt and granola. So separating out or listing what you have is key, because remember, this is a document that you want to just go back and be able to keep reusing. So you don't want to have to remember the things that you have to check. So you want to be as specific as you can with this grocery list. So I filled out lunch and dinner for you on this example to just walk you through, so we can just imagine that I have my list of all the foods that we like to eat or that are easy to make, and I'm just plugging them in. So lunch, 2 kids and me. So sandwich roll up, so sandwich on a tortilla. And that might not mean much for you, but for me, it would mean that I would be putting like mayo or mayo and mustard, depending on the kid, spreading it on the tortilla, lunch meat and cheese, rolling it up, slicing it or not slicing it, depending on the kid, and giving it to them. And they're going to eat that on Monday and Wednesdays that week. Tuesday, Thursday is going to be meatballs and corn. So meatballs are from the frozen section. Corn is from the pantry in the canned corn. Friday is going to be either leftovers of some of this or pizza on a tortilla, because we usually have some sort of pasta or pizza sauce that I can use. Sprinkle some cheese on that, pop that in the microwave or the oven. Saturday, Sunday lunches are going to be leftovers from any of the dinners, or some sort of lunch out, or any leftovers from the lunches. Those are the things that I would need. Dinner for people is Mexican casserole and Mexican quinoa crock-pot dish. So I throw in just random stuff. I don't follow a recipe for that. So I just listed the things that I need. I need beans, I need tomato sauce, I need quinoa, I need pasta. For the pasta with red sauce and a salad. So salad fixing, so that means go to the grocery store, buy stuff for a salad. So whatever looks good that day, unless we have a theme that we're doing for the salad. Chicken and veggies with peanut sauce and rice or quinoa. So have that listed over there. Peanut sauce, the ingredients should be listed out a little bit more, like double check the soy sauce, stuff like that. Leftovers or a freezer meal on Friday of that week. Saturday, Sunday, we're going to try new recipes for dinner. That would probably end up being leftovers or leftovers that get frozen and saved for lunches or a dinner meal. I added in snacks because of the addition of 2 kids that we have to plan snacks out more than I did with just my own 2. So 4 kids, I've noticed that we need to plan out snacks better. So I wrote that out as well. Excuse me, sorry, getting over a cold. So in making a menu for the month, ask your family's input. So what are your, favorite meals? What do you like to eat? What don't you like to eat? In that, you could also put, so-and-so's choice on Friday. And then when you're doing your grocery list, fine-tuning it, you would ask, hey, what is your choice? Friday is your choice for dinner. What do you want to eat? So with this, try a new recipe. Obviously, that's not on the grocery list. I'd have to look in the cookbook and come up with something and throw that on the grocery list. So in asking for input, you could put that it's each kid's input or whatever. So remember, this is flexible and can be changed as needed. It's not set in stone. It's just meant to make life easier for you and get rid of the constant opening the pantry or the refrigerator and just going, here's what we have. What can I make for dinner? While kids are screaming and asking for help with their homework and stuff like that. So this was also great, by the way, when I was pregnant with my second kid, because I had such big food aversions that we had a section of things that I could eat that wouldn't, just the sight of it wouldn't make me nauseous. But I still had a toddler that needed to eat. So having this written down, on Monday she's eating this, on Tuesday she's eating this, on Wednesday she's eating this, made it so much easier for me because I could just look and I could just grab and put it together. And I know that sounds stupid, but it just made a world of difference. It was simple and it just made life so much easier. So my point is that we're just trying to do anything that we can to systemize things, create a routine for you, make it so that other people can help out. Because if dinner is written out or you've got this whole thing, why can't somebody else do this too? So why can't your significant other help out when they can see what's for dinner that week? Or it worked so well when we would do grocery shopping on Sundays, but my ex-husband would take the kids to the grocery store because he enjoyed doing that. He had this list. He would read over it and double check what we had or ask me. And he would take the kids with him to the grocery store because he liked that. To me, it sounds torturous, but for him, it wasn't. And he would go to Costco, get everything we needed. Then he'd bring that home, leave the kids in the car quickly, bring it in the house. I'd put it away. Then he'd go back to the grocery store and get what we needed just at the regular grocery store, come back, we'd put it away. We had everything we needed for the week. Then while he was gone, this is the so glorious mom part of it, I would clean the house. So that was one of the things that was hard for us, was to get that division of labor going of what are his responsibilities, what are mine, how do we make this all work? And so we were both working and doing something productive for the family, for the house, him doing the grocery shopping, which I didn't like to do, and he did, and me cleaning house, which I'm not trying to say I like cleaning the house, but without 2 kids underfoot, it wasn't so bad. So, and I was able to get the whole house cleaned usually while he did that. So we got things done Sunday morning and we could enjoy the rest of our day. So when you're doing this, make sure that you realize that it's flexible. You can change it as needed, do 2 to 3 weeks at a time to see how it's working, and then adapt as needed. And then just keep a running list of other meals that you want to add. Weekends or non-work nights are great for trying new recipes. So that also keeps things interesting. If you print it out, then you can just cross off whatever it is and, add in the new recipe. College student me with going way back, I had all my college classes were assigned a color. So the super organized person in me really wants to go back to that system and color code everything. So I would, if it were me and I had all the time in the world, I would color code this one color and have it the same color over here so it was easy to adapt. You do not need to go that far. Obviously, I didn't. Just giving you ideas of how to make this work and make it easier to use, because if it was color coded, then they could see what they needed to grab and what was missing and stuff like that. Especially since this is something that you do once and then it's done, except for a few minor tweaks. I talked a little bit about how my family structure has changed over the past few years, but guess what hasn't? This meal plan. So we've, changed a few things, but I haven't had to totally redo it. So it's truly a system that works. Making the grocery shopping easy. So I know that there are different ways to grocery shop. Some people order them online. Some people do everything by the coupons. Some people, go every single day. So whatever works for you. But I found that the fewer trips to the grocery store, the better, especially when we're talking about carting young children around. So this helps with that. So once you have your weekly menus done, make a list of the ingredients you'll need, which was on the right-hand column of the one I showed you. So it helps to separate out ingredients you normally have from the ones you'll need to buy. Make a grocery list for each week. Make sure you list approximate quantities. If this is new to you to go grocery shopping once a week, or somebody else is doing the grocery shopping, so put 2 packages of English muffins or however many you need. Go grocery shopping at the beginning of the week or whenever is convenient for you, and maybe in the middle of the week if needed for fresh produce. That way you're not making multiple trips and adding in things that you weren't going to buy anyways. So let's take another look at this completed thing. So I added in snacks. So Monday, Wednesday snacks are apples, peanut butter and celery. Tuesday, Thursday. Friday is cheese and crackers. Saturday, Sunday, popcorn. Those are the things we need. Obviously, if it's in the house and the kid really wants apples and peanut butter, fine. So it depends on how rigid and, strict you want to be. I'm not. I just am with like the meals, depending on the day and what our schedule is. If we're home and it doesn't matter, then it doesn't matter. I'm happy to move things around. Notes and things to consider. So it's a work night for me, so I need to make sure that everything's easy because I'm working from home and feeding the kids and stuff like that. So on this, we need Thursday snacks need to be ready for the park. So do that while the kids are eating breakfast in the morning or the night before or whatever. So just important notes like that. I could put, have 6 kids this weekend or something like that. So totally flexible, totally easy to use. It's a system that will work for a long time. So you're going to make a list of all the foods, schedule them out, make your grocery list. And then after grocery shopping, you can prep the ingredients if you want, or you can simply put everything away. I put everything away because I've just cleaned the house and I don't feel like doing anything else. I feel like doing family time. But I know some people, thrive off of meal prep Sundays or Mondays or whatever it is, and having everything done for the week. If that works for you, do that. A tip, though, is to organize your pantry and fridge by items needed for each meal to make it easier. So put the pasta and the sauce together away in the pantry. Make it work for you. So it works really well, like I've said, for the last few years, and I've always kind of mentally done it in my head, so it's worked longer than that. It takes the thinking out of mom, I'm hungry, what can I eat? Makes it easier for other adults in the house to help cooking dinner without wasting ingredients, or older children who like to cook. So it's a system that will work well for you for a long time. It's just it's a lot of work in the beginning to just have the time to sit down and actually do it, to actually write out, here's the meals that I want to use, here's when we're going to eat them, and plug them, into your calendar, and then to make the grocery list and actually give it a try. So I encourage you to carve out, 45 minutes to an hour to actually do that and give it a try. Check out the printable to make it easier for you. To do that, I have more on my site at conniedeal.com/yourbestyear to help you get started with this. You can find me at Lessons in Learning for Littles on Facebook and Instagram as well. I'm happy to help answer any questions that you have. or if you have questions from like the food allergy or preference point of view, and need help with that and how I manage different dietary needs and restrictions, I'm happy to go into that further. So thank you so much for tuning in. I hope that you're able to use something that I said today to help make your meals easier for you and take that load off of your plate, because it is a routine or a system or something that you can use to make life easier and spend more quality time with your family instead of tearing your hair out over that dreaded what's for dinner question. So thank you so much for watching. If you need help with anything, like I said, please feel free to get in contact with me. I am happy to help you.